Okay, hello everyone, and good morning. Thank you for joining us. We are just going to give everyone an extra minute to join here. We have a little interactive quiz at the start, so we want to make sure we give people time to join. So in about a minute, we'll get underway. So you've got some extra time to grab a coffee, but we'll be getting started very shortly here. Thank you.
More are coming, I see.
Scott, to answer your question, yes, we will be recording this presentation, so you'll get that link tomorrow. Okay, cool. I think I will get us started. So thanks everyone for taking the time to join us this morning. We really do appreciate it. Welcome to our webinar, The Deepfake Era is Here. Can you tell reality from fiction? Really excited for this webinar today. Delighted to be joined by our speaker, Jesus Cordero, Director of Solution Architects here at Barracuda. I'm going to hand things over to him very soon, but first and foremost, we do have some quick housekeeping items to go over. So, like I just mentioned, this session will be recorded, and we'll be sharing the link to the recording with you in our follow-up email that will arrive in your inbox tomorrow morning. So make sure to look out for that if there's anything that you'd like to revisit from today's session. Secondly, we do have Q&A enabled for this webinar. So if at any point you have a question for Jesus, then make sure to send it through to us, and we'll try and get to as many of those as we can. And finally, if English isn't your first language and you'd like to follow along with subtitles, then that option is also available to you. And with that, we're going to get underway. We do have some quick poll questions that we want to start today with. So being that the title of the webinar is Can Your Business Tell Reality from Fiction? We thought that we would do a quick quiz to test whether you can identify a deepfake from a real video. So we've got a few videos that we're going to play. There's going to be a video on the left and the right. I believe the first video is of Kim Kardashian. So watch the video and let us know whether you think the video on the left is the real video or the video on the right is the real video. So, Jesus, if you're good to play that video.
Thank you, Stan. Let's try it.
So which is the real one, left or right?
Let's wait for the people to enter their opinion.
Okay, so I'm going to launch the poll. So which is real, left or right? And I should also mention, so we're going to run 3 of these polls right here at the start. And Jesus, I believe that from the width, whoever can guess them all correctly, we're going to pick a winner, right? And we're going to send them a book. Do you want to tell us about that?
Oh, yes. To make it interactive of interesting AI and Gen AI, which is the background of every deepfake we are going to see today, is one of the topics that has been changing rapidly and in a kind of a revolution, or I want to say it in the kind of a leap in the last 2 to 3 years in the cybersecurity segment of the market. And one of the interesting books I want to recommend to all of you is this book called Genesis. And Genesis is written by Henry Kissinger, Craig Mondi, and Eric Schmidt. And Bill Gates often said this is timely. Another guy, for example, Sam Altman, is saying this is really an important literature to get to understand AI today. And the winner of the we are going to pick out of all of you having the right answers are going to get this book sent from me to you directly. So
Awesome.
let's
Love
see
that.
then. If that's the first one, all good. I don't see a
Yes.
video, only a still.
So
Yeah,
the
also wait.
results,
Firstly, Frederick, just to clarify that, I just play it and freeze it. Then let's play it to the end.
so we've got 55% of people said the left was fake, or the left was the real one. 45% said the right was the real one. So Pretty
You
split down the
saw
middle there.
now which one was the fake one. Let me play it again. Yeah. This one is the fake one. Okay, then let's move on to the next one. And here we go.
So which
Left or
Boris
right?
Johnson
Oh,
is
excuse
the
me.
real one?
Excuse me. Left or right? Which one is the right one? We have it. Can I play it to the end?
Results are coming through. We'll give people just a couple more seconds. Very split down the middle again. So we'll just share the results quickly.
Interesting.
Look, yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
50-50.
Let me play it to the end. If you close it, please. Then let's see what happened. What is the fake one? The right one is the fake one. Well, let's move on to the last one. You ready? Is Mr. Zuckerberg. Oh, sorry for that. Let's play it to the
Spoiler.
end. Spoiler alert, let's cancel this one. This one is the fake. Thank you for that. You can close it. We have two of them. But as you see, those are difficult to identify. And this is why we are here. For the normal eye, these have been evolving. Those are kind of older videos, but let's start from the beginning, right? You remember this movie? Maybe you are too young to know this movie. It's a sci-fi fiction movie from the year 2004 called I, Robot. And back in that time, in the I, Robot movie, for the implementation of artificial intelligence for the benefit of humans, there were three laws in this movie. The first one was a robot shall not harm a human or by inaction allow a human to come to harm. The second one was a robot shall obey any instruction given to it by a human. And the third one, a robot shall avoid actions or situations that could cause it to come to harm itself, right? Now imagine what these implications have today to do with the use of AI. And all of them, I am afraid to say it, but all of them are broken. We are going to see why. In the AI era, the implementation of artificial intelligence need a deeper understanding of what is, first of all, what is Gen AI. Let's start with that. AI is a statistical prediction model. It means by its nature shouldn't create nothing new out of the nothing because it's not possible, right? Second, Gen I does not know anything. Gen I does not deduce anything and does not create anything from scratch. Gen I predicts what it thinks should come next based on what it has seen in its training data. It means based on all the data we inject into the model, into the agent, into the database, or the bridge we create into between agents on the database, can be a Mongo database in the most of the cases, is the source of the information we are to deduce what would, let's say, millions of humans do as next. If I ask for a picture of a kid playing in sand, it's going to go and watch all the picture of kids and sand and playing sand that is available in that database and create one for me. But it's not nothing new. It's just what would be the next step. But, and this is the but, until now, this was the way. This has changed, and we are going to see it just straight away, right? This is what we believe in the last years, and since the release at the 30th of November 2020, I believe, was the release of ChatGPT, but the usage of all that artificial intelligence in the years before, since 2018, 15, etc., we are going to see that as well. This has changed radically in this year. Well, let's keep moving. What is then AI? Let's go first through some AI concepts. Start with generative AI is, as I said before, something that create learning from patterns, new things based on given data, right? It's not that I tell him like the genie in the bottle, please make a picture of myself, and she don't know, or that agent don't know who I am, and how should this artificial intelligence create something that has no source of truth, right? Now, the next one, oh, excuse me, the neural networks is a computational framework that mimic really how we humans think. Second concept, right? Next one, multimodal, which means that we are combining text, audio, video, pictures, etc., 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 to create something out of that given data. And one of the most common situations we have seen in the last years are the hallucinations. When GenAI suddenly produce something out of that that does not correspond to the reality. That is something that is totally wrong. Yeah? Now, how do they work? Based on training data and the foundation model that we have, can be call them all the agents we have, and the task we give from the right hand side in your screen is what we are going to adapt all those data to generate the information we are creating. This is the normal workflow in the training of the data that all the agentic AI are being trained to get that. What is the source of training today for open agents? The entire internet. It sounds like nothing, but imagine that is the entire internet. Everything that is public available, all those agents that you use, like Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, you call them, can go and access this data if you don't put them in a frame, if you don't isolate them to take care of your data. We are going into that in the next minutes during this webinar. Now, what are the consequences of this? Just to put the frame, this was just a kind of introduction for it, that this AI game has been changing everything we knew about cybersecurity today. And this is a problem for us, the good guys, because the bad guys has been speeding up this in a way that is scary, because they are not bound to regulations, to corporate security policies like you and me. They don't have an internal IT that said, hey, you are not allowed to use Copilot, or you shouldn't use ChatGPT here or in your computer, in your work computer, etc., etc., etc. They have been using since the beginning to do all these things that I am not going to read for you here in this slide. This is what have been changing radically the situation outside in the world. Now, why are we sitting here today with me? It's because we want to deep dive into deep fakes. And what are deep fakes? Well, we have been seeing a lot of them in the last 2 to 3 years, maybe longer already. And the most common of them, we are going to see a few examples in the next couple of slides, have been based on audio, have been based in video, that has been somehow pre-recorded or prepared upfront before the attack. Because it's not something that happens just now and I get infiltrated somewhere and I did it. The infiltration is a couple of months preparation, or weeks maybe in the meanwhile, until I get to inject these deepfakes into a call or a video or a video conference or whatever. We are going to see some examples. But that was the pattern, the behavior pattern of attackers until today. This year has changed massively. And this is the point where I said, for fake's sake, what's going on right now? Let me show you a video what is going to visualize how deepfakes are made today. We can do it today live in that very moment, I can change. I am not good to do it. That's the reason why it says a recorded video for it. Can change the face or whatever who is in front of this device and this camera and I only need a picture of that person to create a fake live stream right now. Let me show you the video. For security disclosures, we're not saying how is this made, but I had a few colleagues here with Stan and with me taking a look into this, and it's really scary that this is possible today. I was last week, and this is the good side of the story. I was last week at the GITEX in Dubai, and I was looking to a guy from this company called Honor presenting a cell phone where they have exactly the opposite technology, where they can, in a Teams video, in a Zoom video, in a WhatsApp video, discover if the stream that is coming into the call in live stream is a deep fake or not. And that's why we are sitting here. Let's understand first what are deep fakes. Deep fakes are the mixed, let me call it that way, of things about persons that are publicly known, like audio, photos, videos, etc., pull them all together. How is this possible today? Because we have been training algorithms in the last years in social media, like all Instagrammers using lip sync to sing like I don't know what. All that intelligence that we have been creating about human people mimicking human behavior patterns is used to create something new about one individual which has never happened, right? It can be a video about me speaking about, I don't know what, selling flowers or something like that. I never did it, but they took one video of myself, my voice, how I'm wearing, the way I used to pronounce things, etc., my weird accent, everything copied and replicated to create something new that I never did in my life. Think about the consequences of it. It's scary, right? It can be funny if I see somebody's trying to be Johnny Depp or Brad Pitt or whatever. This can be used for propaganda, for election interference, for reputational damage or extortion, right? And as well for scams, phishing, identity theft. Those are the things that we are going to take a look today. It has been increasing annually, exponential to 900%. And this has been year by year exactly the same thing. I just saw a report last week at the GITEX where they say in Europe, every 5 minutes, a deep fake attack is happening. It's a report from Interpol, right? This is really interesting to see. They say, well, we are maybe underestimating this. We are maybe not prepared or not educating our people or our fences in the security segment of, let's say, network security and detection, response, and remediation, etc., in our cybersecurity plan are maybe not prepared for these kind of attacks, or maybe they are. We are going to find together today. Now, let's take a look into a few of my favorites. I have 7 favorites attacks, but one of them is a Zoom call scam towards with face swapping, where they lose in that call $622,000 during that scam. Another one is one we are going to analyze today is the UK energy firm who lost £220,000 in a voice clone fraud, and a few others like this one. I remember this was really famous. Justin Trudeau deepfake investment scam, because everybody saw that he was investing in something, and everybody, if he's investing, I will do the same. A lot of people fall into that scam. Believe it or not, yes. Then let's start with the analysis of 3 of them. The first one is a voice deepfake. This is the story of a UK energy firm who lost €220,000, and the CEO was really believing he was speaking with his boss, with the CEO of a German parent company, because his accent was really German-like. It was really, he really believed this is the CEO of the location. He used to talk to him. He was requesting him to do the transfer. Was really genuine, the voice of this person. He believed it, and he made the money transfer. During the cyber attack, the unidentified fraudster was really mimicking the voice of this person. Well, what was the method of it? The scammers executing the plan step by step. Let's take a look into that. They called it the UK CEO and perfected, copied the German voice and the accent. They asked to do it quickly because it's urgent, under pressure, you need to act, and then you believe, you don't think about. And it was really within 1 hour to one Hungarian supplier. The criminals made 3 calls: one for start the transfer, another to getting paid back, another one to move the money, to ask for more money. They were successful because they combined social engineering with the new AI technology, and they really nailed it. Really, almost natural and original, real accent, German accent of this person in the phone call. Now, the impact and the aftermath. The money was moved really fast into an account in Mexico. They spread it to international accounts. What made that for the good guys, for Interpol and all the law enforcement there in UK, almost impossible to find it out where is it and what's going on. The normal cybersecurity software, I need to be funny here because it's what I said at the beginning, where I was highlighting the revolution based in Gen AI. We are trying to fight Gen AI with old security models, and this is not going to work. Definitely is not going to work. They are steps ahead of us, and if we are slowly implementing new approaches in our cybersecurity strategy, we are going to be always trying to catch up. This is the point where we saw that security experts were really worried to say, oh, we were not prepared for this. And this is something no one of us want to say, right? Now, let's keep moving. In this case, this big pointing to a bigger problem, and the US American market was making some investigations about the public opinion, and they find out that they already have been losing billions of dollars with this easy audio scam, because they are really good in mimicking the voice of your parents, your sons, your children, your boss, your co-workers, or whatever. And this is really worrying a lot of people, right? That they can fall into these kind of scams. Let's take a look into the second one. Oh no, just let's stay here, just because it's really difficult for a lot of people to identify if this is one deep fake audio or not. 1 out of 4 people can't distinguish it. It's difficult, right? We are going to see a few best practices for it. And as the quality of GenAI videos is improving, we are expecting exactly the same or higher ratio in the video detection tool, as we saw it just before in the live stream, right? Now, the second attack is one of my favorites. It happened last year, at the beginning of 2024. And this is still my favorite one. That is the reason why I included in all my webinars. Some of you that were last year, because I see that I have people in the audience that came from in the last deepfakes webinar we had 2 years ago. I had this example because it's until today one of the most impressive. There is one that I want to show later is more impressive than this one. This happened in Hong Kong. It was during a Zoom call like we are doing right now. And in a multinational company, they were in a Zoom call, and the person with the responsibility to make a money transfer was asked to do a transfer of 25 million, and he did during the call. He did, and as he came out of that video conference, he find out that out of 15 persons, I believe, 15 individuals in the call, he was the only one who was real. All the others, they were deep fakes. And you will ask, how is this possible? Well, it was that good prepared that they have been investigating all those individuals. That used to be a lot of social engineering to know who is going to be in this kind of calls. They were inside of the network knowing who is invited commonly to this kind of Zoom calls, etc., etc., etc. You see, you need a lot of preparation for it. And they were using all that open source intelligence available in the internet to create all this content pre-recorded and injected in kind of, I have a bad connection. Can you repeat that again? Can you hear me properly? This is really urgent. Can you do it, please? And zack, boom, 25 million gone in the wind. It has been one of the most impressive during until today. Now let me show you the next one. This happened during a corporate video conference infiltration, right? And they have really hijacking the meeting itself. They research the same is it starts always with social engineering. Where are they? Who are the key executives? What they used to do? What are their hobbies? Where they move in their normal life? What are they doing? What are their Instagram, their Facebook, LinkedIn? So people used to say a lot about themselves in social media. This is the source for all the social engineering for executives and people into a call. They use all that information to create the deepfakes and inject it into that code. And exactly in this kind of situations where, hey, it's urgent, we need to do it now, and I'm telling you because I am your boss, you do it now. This kind of pressure, and then the impersonation technology used was real-time face mapping capabilities, as we saw it in the video before. Voice synthesis matching target speech patterns. This is something impressive. Then AI knows exactly if I am a Latino, Caucasian, Asian, whatever my cultural background and ethnic is, how do I move my lips and pronounce some kind of words and can mimic with that lip sync when I inject the text, converting to voice speaking and facing the mimic and the signals of human life in the creation of a synthetic video stream. Imagine that. How amazing is that piece of technology if we will use it for good purposes. But for bad purposes, this is where the human eye cannot see it and recognize it like this. This is what the reason at the beginning we were, is this left, is this right, which one is the right one? because it's really trained based on thousands and thousands of information, data, videos, text, audios we have available in the internet. Now, they synchronized everything, as I said before, and manipulating the background, which is the most easily part to do to match the corporate settings. Now, let's keep moving. When we said this is the actual situation we have, how can we prevent it, right? This is one of the things that we would like to learn today or to start thinking about. Well, we need an all-encompassing approach. It means if we don't have multi-factor authentication for video conferences, we start doing it now because not every single person only with the IT meeting and the passcode should be able to join a video conference if this is not protected with multi-factor authentication. Because you know how it works, I don't need to repeat that. This is one of the first steps. Now, in the real-time video conferencing, there are a lot of actors, vendors that are already offering, like I told you before, I saw last week at the GITEX with this company called Honor for mobile devices. They have it to detect that. But incorporated sceneries for like Sentinel is on IBM, and there is a lot of software that can be managed locally from your local IT to identify audio and video deepfakes and fraud infiltration, right? So verification systems like out-of-the-band verification processes, this is similar to the multi-factor authentication, where we need to be more aware on how to implement them. But, and this is really my top priority, is how to educate our people. How do we educate the regular employee to be more aware on how to behave in all these kind of things? How do we educate them? There is a lot of training portals and funny places in the internet. A deepfake game I just found where you can really train your eyes to identify is this a deepfake or not in a kind of game. You can do it with your people, with your teams in your company. If you type it in, I wanted to say Google, but I don't use Google. If you type it in your search machine, the deepfake game, you are going to find it. Now, what do we need to look for? Unusual blinking patterns. If you see that somebody is just talking, but don't blink, either is this a kind of psychopath, sorry for that, or it's just an unusual human behavior pattern. Inconstant sleep synchronization, like in old, these karate Chinese movies of back from the 70s, where the translation was already done and the lips were still moving. This can happen if the use of the AI is not properly or really conscientiously made. Audio quality variations is not normal, is maybe more normal that you have drops that you get lost or you get rendered and suddenly it's faster. It happens in Teams, happens in Zoom, but the audio quality variations is not typical. It's not that something that you see really often. And work choices or speech patterns, as I mentioned before, based on the cultural background or in the person you may know because they are colleagues, co-workers, familiar people to you, that they suddenly are using words that said, hey, you never said that. You would never use this kind of word. You need to get more aware and more sensible for this kind of human behavior. And here comes the good thing. There are but already regulations in place in Europe, in the US, in Asia. I don't know really, but I am focused today in the more nearest to us based on our business scope. If we take a look into the European landscape, we have already some regulations in place, like the UK Online Safety Act from 2023. So if you don't know it, get common to it, because this is protecting and is enforcing people to discover and to declare when they are using manipulated content for marketing, for financial, for educational, for whatever purpose. And if this is not the case, the fine once this is detected is higher and is protected by law. So you shouldn't take it on the easy way. This is something that we need to be more aware, because this can have, and the first line before we think about business is personal reputation damage. If somebody has been misused, photos, audio, videos of one individual has been misused for a fraud, this person, as long as not proof, as long as not really confirmed that it's a deep fake, I am the responsible for that, because I cannot prove that it's not me. To get the point in this, well, this is a lot of things to lecture for the, the site, but if you have nothing better to read in the evening. Now, the EU AI Act of last year is exactly the same. We need to declare if you have been using artificial intelligence to create content that you are using for whatever reason, mainly business reasons. And this one is my favorite. Denmark is the first country that created this year a legal shield that protects all citizens in Denmark, their copyright about their voices, their pictures, their videos, their identity, that cannot be stolen or cannot be used for a bad, let's say, purpose. So this is one of the things I am curious to see how it's going to evolve within the European Union, but I'm greedy in terms of cybersecurity. I want to see it globally. I believe that we need it on a global frame. Now, there is a few others in the US where I'm going to mention only. This is the one No A Fraud Act, who's really already protecting the or trying to avoid the fake replicas and duplication that are unauthorized, because a lot of Instagrammers were saying, well, suddenly I saw videos of myself selling pills and it's me, it's my bathroom, is really me, is my voice, it's like I used to do all my reels, but I never sell this kind of pills out of my bathroom. This never happened. I never did that. And how do you get protected for this? Well, this is this kind of acts that are happening there. The other one is the Nurture Original Forced Art and Keep Entertainment Safe Act. And the last one is the No Consensual Edits Defiance Act. It's a disrupt explicit forged image and not consensual edits. That's the reason why it's called Defiance Act, right? Just for information. But now, and this is the most important part, we are coming to the last part of this webinar. How should we respond? What is, if we know that deepfakes are out there and they are happening and getting wilder than last year? It's not that like we are creating content, we get infiltrated in a company, and then we do the scam and the fraud. We can do it live right now. How should we respond? And now I would like to invite Stan to help me with the second poll.
Awesome. Thank you, Jesus. So next poll, which everyone should see on their screen now. We'd love to know, does your organization currently exercise any techniques to prevent deepfake attacks? So we'll give you 30 seconds or so to fill this out. But pretty scary stuff that that Jesus has been talking about. So interested to see how you will respond to this.
Win a book, win a book.
Okay, awesome. We'll stop and share the results. So there you have it. 62% no, 50% do currently exercise techniques to prevent deepfake attacks. We'd love to know what those are. If you want to put those in the Q&A, what are you currently doing to prevent those deepfake attacks? And then 23% not sure. Interesting. Back to you, Jesus.
Interesting. Beside the fact that there is a lot of companies that are not aware of this. When I see the 60% of us saying, no, we are not doing nothing against this. Those that said, I am not sure, I believe that those are the bigger problems we have when we are working in an environment and we don't know what we are doing for security, right? If I know that we are not doing it, if I know that we are doing it, it's okay. But if we don't know what our IT teams are doing to protect me when I am working in a company, this is the most scary part, I believe, because I want to trust my employer and know that they are doing something for me, right? But if I really don't know what's going on, I don't know which one is worst. If we are doing nothing at all, or I really don't know what's going on here in this company where I am working, is maybe exactly that the reason why I was saying let's move forward. There are AI-based approaches. As a matter of fact, we know a lot of them. This is, I would like to emphasize the importance of focusing on some specific regions of images and videos where we can really identify that this is a fake content that can appear there. And there is a study which is called the multimodal multi-scale transformers for deepfake detection. You may get the link in the slides when you get the slides and the recording after this webinar. Is called the M2TR, multimodal multi-scale transformers for deepfake detection, where they really recommend which kind of AI models can be used for this detection. And there is web page that I recommend. You can have these conversations with your company, with the IT guys, just to recommend. It's called Hekanon. And this Hekanon is it's an interesting article where they mention all those deepfake detectors, which is called not all deepfake detectors are created equal. So there is various approaches for that. Let's start with that. We have, for example, models to train the deep learning model that detects the feature differences. It means, are moving the eyes synchronous? The ears are moving. Are they not moving? The fingers, is this a normal movement? Are they shorter, longer? You see the natural move of a human person when you get nervous and you start doing whatever. This a natural flow of the moving that are synchron in a human pattern, and those models are trained for that. Or those that are trained in biological signs of the blood flow, the heart rate, the breathing. If you people like me that we can speak for a long time without breathing the entire time, which is sometimes scary that we are not dropping dead because we are not breathing. Those are things that these agents can recognize or not, right? Now, next one is the multi-attention deepfake detection, which is really interesting because it's taking care of more aspects of the things happening inside of the video. And the last one is this multimodal multi-scale transformer that is taking care of the speech or all of those features in one, let me call it in a straight way. And this part I will recommend again this fake game. You can find it in a homepage called SumSub, SUMSUB.com, deepfakes, and then you find the fake game for this kind of training in a funny way. Now, real practical advice to implement defense in depth is starting with verifying audio and video before trusting it, and especially when something seems abnormal. They still say, and this is something that since day one with this kind of deepfake videos, is that they cannot move on the side without the head on the side to the left or to the right without getting distorted. So I was making jokes last year with Stan that people are asking now in this kind of videos. Is it really you? Is not the old question. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? No, it's now asking, is it really you? Can you please move your head to the right or make a handstand or something like that to verify if something is really or not. Now, implementing multi-factor authentication or a zero trust architecture, if you want to know more about that, let me say it in one sentence. A zero trust architecture is not only a zero trust network access agent that you use for that, is an entire design of the network topology that verify the identity of the person, the device within the person is embedded and connected to your network and to use your applications. And if you don't have it in place, these kind of things can happen. If you want to learn more about that, stay connected with us for our Zero Trust architecture webinars we are planning for against end of November, beginning of December. So you can go in depth into the topology, how to avoid infiltration into your network, including deepfakes. If you want to know it sooner, just reach out to us. I'm here to help you and to support you. Next one is operational failsafe. It means when you require really different steps of authentication and authorization for large finance transfers. After this heist that happened last year, I was meeting some colleagues of me in UK, and they were telling me he knew this friend of me was telling me he knew a company that for that time they shift again to paper to make it on-prem for OS principles. Said all this kind of big wires, we are not going to do it digital for a long time until we don't have the security on place to protect all our silly people. And this is what I mean with defense in depth protection. When we have several layers from the identity, device, user authentication, authorization, monitoring of anomalies, etc., to identify if what is happening is real or not. This is one of my favorite softwares. It's from Intel. It's called the Fake Catcher to identify really on several points on the mimic of the face human mimic if this is real or not. Really well trained, by the way. Now, next steps, how to explore, learn, and leverage GenAI today. We at Barracuda have been doing this since 2015 with leveraging large language model, machine language, and artificial intelligence, which was called research group or research, I don't remember, the pilot of the artificial intelligence for the 2020 years when we started with all those agentic AI that we call today. But you see, we at Barracuda has been exploring and implementing it already into our products because every single scam attack, every single impersonation theft, identity theft or infiltration into a network starts always with an attachment or a link in a mail. And with all the intelligence we have in Barracuda, we have been protecting our customers in the last years the best we can. And if you want to know more about what we have been doing recently in the implementation of AI to protect the identity of people at the end of the day, let me call it that way, is this here a good timeline that you can follow? Or if you are common as well with our product portfolio, all that intelligence coming from different assets in different networks, in different verticals in the market, are benefiting all our customers to protect them before things are happening in your environment. If you are using applications, or you are protecting your network, or you are more agile in the cloud or whatever your users used to work on daily basis. The threat intelligence of Barracuda can help you to protect them. But more than that, and this is one of the fascinating stories we are doing today at Barracuda, we are conglomerating, we are converging all that intelligence into one platform to secure all your data, your email, your network, your applications, no matter in which ecosystem you are, no matter in which platform or operating system you are using, and with the protection of our SOC team, which is the cavalry behind your army, is what we are doing today to help you to identify with sentiment analysis, agentic AI threat analysis, etc., to see the anomalies going on your network. We do it for you, we remediate it for you, so you can spend time with your beloved ones. What else do we need? Now, the next steps, and this is something that I would like to invite you, I do it with my family too, review your assets. How old is the technology we are using? Is really old. You are giving your son, your kids, your employers in a corporated environment old devices that cannot cope with this kind of situations, that cannot protect themselves just because, it's always a matter of budget. We don't have budget for that. We need to get maybe just this kind of laptops because they are more feasible for us, etc. Is this the cybersecurity strategy of your company? Is this what we are doing? Review that, right? Now, how many tasks in your cybersecurity plan are you still doing it manually? you know, some days are better than others, and we are humans. We do mistakes, and a misconfiguration can cost millions sometimes. And I'm speaking about manually things that we have been doing in the last 20 years. How many of them are still there in place? Are you monitoring your entire network? Are you monitoring what your users are doing, letting the small autistic out of you and go to the logs and to the live views of your firewalls and your XDR dashboards or EDR dashboards to see what is going on? This is old music. We need to do it automated today, and AI is helping us to summarize all the content of all dashboards we have. We at Barracuda are doing it for you. If you want to know more about that, contact us. We are here to support you because this is a fight. We are coming sometimes too late, or we are going with a butter knife into a street fight, and this is not going to be enough. Sometimes we need to review our assets. How can you skill your staff? You need to create more awareness. What are your people doing? Then at the end of the day, they represent your company. They are people embedded in your culture, in your work culture, in the image of your company. They are a point of entry for attackers. So review the human behavior. How much are they posting in social media? Are still silly that they really, hey, I'm drinking water today. I'm here, me drinking water. Hello. And then we know what you are doing, how you look like, what are your friends, how looks your living room, your friends, where are you on vacation, what is your hobbies, etc., etc. Are we doing that all the time without no regret? Can you not try to close that frame only for your friends and leave a less public if you are representing a company, a cybersecurity company today, depending of the model of your business, we need to review this kind. How many personal information are you publishing? Your birthday, your favorite color, the car you use, the technology you use, the brand of your laptop, etc., etc. How many things create your identity? For a bad boy, a person that is skilled to do social engineering, social media is a treasure. Is a really a mine of jewels to find information about individuals to get infiltrated into one company. Review the human behavior. Speak to your family and friends. For example, my son and my wife and my parents-in-law and the rest of family, we all have a passcode. That if somebody should call us or tell whatever, we have a passcode. We change regularly. And said, if somebody's calling you, ask always for the passcode for this month, or we change it regularly, not always in the same time. And it's kind of a funny exercise with my son that he helps me then to say, hey, Dad, I have a funny word. Let's use this one next time. And then you can prevent yourself or identify scammers with easy human behavior patterns to discover is this one or not. And I have an example for that, by the way, but we are going to that. Please speak to your people, review the human behavior. We have been too silly in the last, let's say, 20 years maybe, since we started to use social media. So review that. This is one of my favorite examples with this review of the human pattern. This happened just a few in July this year, I believe. Yeah, this was Benedetto Vigna from Ferrari. There is only una macchina rosa and it's Ferrari. There is only un Rotes auto, and this is Ferrari, right? So for all the auto lovers here, you may have another opinion, but this is, I'm not an auto lover, by the way. But this guy was calling one of their senior executives in an audio conference and telling them, hey, have you here? We have here a big acquisition that we are planning. I could need your help, and asking this kind of confidential information. And all those senior executives got suspicious during the call and said, why is Vigna, this Benedetto Vigna, asking this? And one of them asked him, oh, by the way, you recommend us a book that you are reading, and I forgot the title. Can you say it again? And the scammers have not known it and knew it. Oh, they got us now. And they ended the conversation. So these kind of easy tricks, you don't need a digital defense or expensive software to get there. You need to be human. You need to be human to discover what is artificial. And one of my favorite sayings coming to the end of the conversation today is exactly that. The revolution of Gen I is trying to create perfect simulation of humans. But you know what? The perfect human being is imperfect. We make mistakes when we speak. We make mistakes when we try to remember something in a conversation, when we try to pronounce a word properly or not. AI don't. It's trying to make the perfect version of us, and we are just not perfect. So what is my recommendation for this? Get your fingerprint. How many information are you publishing for you about in the internet? Connect with us if you want to get a free consultancy about this, to review your assets, to see what you can optimize with us or with something else. I don't believe that there is only one solution for this. We can offer, we can help, but we can be honest as well and say, well, you may need something else. I'm here to support you. But Barracuda is in one of the best positions to do that and embrace the change. AI is not going to replace people. You are not going to lose your job until AI. People who knows to use AI are going to replace people that don't know how to use AI properly. And once that's said, I want to say thank you for that, and thank you for coming today to join us in our webinar. We still have a few minutes, I believe, for some questions, and if not, Vladislav, I need to run right now. Thank you for joining us today. Now, Stan, please help us with the questions if some came here.
Amazing. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, we are just coming up to the top of the hour, but if anyone does have a question, please do send it through to us. If we can't answer it now live, then we will definitely reach out to you offline. We did have one question come through, Jesus. You touched on regulations. Do you see more regulations being introduced on this topic as deepfake technology continues to evolve and the attacks become more
The
prominent?
AI Cybersecurity Act is coming next year in Europe. This is one of where I expect that this is going to be regulated. Be alert of that, be aware of that. This is coming. All of us, all vendors, all companies are going to be hit by that. Regulation is the EU AI Cybersecurity Act, and we all need to be aware of that. But every country in Europe, including UK, have a local realization of it. So take a look into your government home pages for this kind of regulations, and if you need more advice, please reach out to us.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. It is now 11 in the UK, so we've reached the hour. We will wrap things up there. Thank you again, Jesus, for all your insights. Thank you to our attendees for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the session. I know I did, and we have a lot of great webinars planned in the coming months, so make sure to look out for invitations to those. And we will also be reaching out to one of you to find an address to send the book to that Jesus mentioned earlier.
Exactly, and those Bashi and Ben's asking, yes, we are going to share the slides, and yes, you can reach out to me. It's easy to find me in LinkedIn or over email here in the company. If you want to continue the conversation, I'm here as available as I can be to continue the conversation offline.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, everyone. See you on the
Thank
next
you.
one. Thanks.
Bye bye.